All right, we're flowing again.
Yes, we're
The
back.
only person that my phone rings for is Amy,
Hmm.
and naturally, I forgot to tell her that we were recording. So
And what's going on
that's
with
why
your
that happened. Oh, I was trying to hide that from the camera. I had a little biopsy today,
Okay.
so results. Maybe we'll have the results next week
All right. You
on
can't
the
hide.
episode.
You can't hide from us. You can't hide from me. You can't
Well,
hide from the people.
that's why I was keeping my head to the side a little bit.
Well, it didn't work. We'll leave it there though.
We're full transparency on this show. There's
We
no
are.
hiding.
We are. We are full transparency and we're
Anyway,
resource.
as I was saying
Yes.
when we started recording the first time, you got back from Aspen last night.
Yes.
How was it?
It was beautiful. I left people were in t-shirts yesterday in Aspen and came home to frigid ice and snow here in New
Mhm.
Jersey.
That's
But
crazy. You wouldn't have thought that.
yeah, it was no, Aspen was gorgeous. It was my first time there. The mastermind was fantastic. The group was super cool. It was a really nice size. Um in a great area. It was a good example of work life play. I don't even want to say balance because it really, I don't really believe in a perfect balance, but
Yeah.
it was it's always eye-opening. I mean, no matter how much I travel, there's something about being up very high in the sky and looking down on earth, whether you're going over water or mountains, and just a reminder of the expansiveness of it's a big, wide world out there.
Yeah.
So 2 days of mastermind filled with just outside, dinners and lunches and side conversations and connections with very like-minded but different thinking people. People that have really done a lot business-wise,
Hmm.
full transparency and sharing systems and exactly what people, lots of times you're like, oh my God, that's so amazing what they're presenting. Like, I want to replicate that. But they only give you enough to kind of confuse you. People are just literally, here's the QR code to my full playbook. Here's the forms we
Love
use.
that.
Yeah. So really cool. Speaking my language because everyone was talking about the importance of nervous system regulation. Everyone was talking about whether they said nervous system regulation or didn't, or even they didn't even realize it. Um, this real, like, if hustle was all we needed, we would all have everything we wanted because, like,
Exactly.
so we've already proven hustle is not the key. Is it an element? Sure. I will fully accept that, but it is not the key to having a successful life. So,
Did we talk about that last episode?
I don't remember.
The Alex Hormozy and Tony Robbins.
No, we did not.
So that was it was, for anyone that has any doubts about Tony Robbins, if you just watch that particular episode, it was Hormozy interviewing him for his podcast,
Mm,
but it basically turned into a coaching session of Tony Robbins coaching him.
yes.
And it was just like, especially coaches like us, like you'll see the same things I saw, like the way he was framing questions and things like that, and the responses he was eliciting. It was just watching a master at work.
Mm,
But the overarching theme was, Hormozy's kind of come to this realization that him and his wife have spent so much time hustling and working hard and grinding, and he's starting to question, like, am I happy? Like, why am I doing this? What's this all for, kind of thing.
yeah.
And and Robbins was just kind of dissecting that with him. It was really, really interesting, to your point of, there's only so far just working hard can take you.
Yeah.
And for anyone that says, oh, I don't get burned out, you will eventually.
Mm,
Whether it's mentally, physiologically, you will get burned out at some point if you don't have, and balance doesn't need to be 50-50. We talk about that all the time. And there will be seasons of 80% work, 20% life, but you need to make sure that you're constantly adjusting that and leaving time for things that are the most important to you.
yeah. Yeah. And when you're talking, I go to this. maybe you're okay operating in a burnt out state. You're not really, but maybe you're accepting that.
Yeah.
You are fucking up everybody around you. Your children, your
Yeah.
partners, your coworkers. Co-regulation is a real thing, and when you're around someone that's burnt out and dysregulated, it impacts you. So you might be okay functioning in life like that, but just that's so selfish.
Yeah.
And most people are not selfish people. I keep, oh, they're just selfish. They don't care how they're impacting the world. Most people want to impact in a positive way. But they're just so worn down, worn out, overwhelmed, all the things. Um, we could do a whole podcast on this, and we have, and we will do more. But
People need to hear it over and over again.
yeah, fuck the hustle. Embrace the hustle. I mean, however you want to put it, it's an element of it. Is not everything. And I think that you said it perfectly. What Alex Hormozy said. Am I even happy? Right. We
Yeah.
get so far down this road of what we think is success and outworking other people. And then we're there and we're like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I created? And
Yeah. And I think, you saying there, fuck the hustle. I think people have they have a misconception about what hustle actually is.
mm,
It's not about quantity of time. It's about the quality of the time while you're working.
yes.
I've always said I can do things a lot quicker than a lot of people,
Mm,
whether it's, something like writing an email or doing a task. I've always naturally been quick at getting stuff done.
yeah.
So why am I gonna make myself work for 20 hours when I can get it done in 10?
And that's where I would reframe it, right? Like we've labeled that maybe hustle when really it's just
Yeah.
purposeful.
Yeah.
Because if you think
Committed.
about, yeah, if getting
Yeah.
focus, getting clarity, taking action, being purposeful. If we're labeling that hustle because we're doing something quickly versus we're just doing something purposefully and we happen to be efficient at it because of what we've done to create ourselves. I mean, hustle, I think of when I think hustle, like someone like doing a shady deal on the street, like you're getting hustled. Um,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a good thing, but we've made it this thing. So that will lead us to really where we wanted to go today, which was clarity, focus, taking action. And I was thinking like it's the chicken or the egg. I used to think I had to get clarity before I took action. And now I've realized like often, especially if you're in a stuck state, action begets clarity, right? Like
Yeah.
taking action, taking a small step can like part the seas, part the clouds. So I actually think start before you're ready is something that's is very much part of my life.
Oh, 100%. I always start things before I'm ready to, and it's the only way you really get an understanding of what you actually need to do,
Yeah.
because you end up asking questions that you wouldn't have asked if you'd just been told something,
Mhm.
because your brain wouldn't have gone there and you wouldn't have had an interaction with someone and not known an answer or whatever it is. Definitely.
What would you say to people that they're in such a stuck state and they might be being busy and they might be hustling? They're so afraid to take action into something because they don't know if it's the right thing. They don't want to make a mistake. Someone told them not to do it. They don't know exactly what the desired outcome is. They don't know what it
Yeah.
looks like. Uh, what would you say to someone, or what do you say to clients that are stuck like that?
What do you have to lose?
Mm.
It's like, so I got accepted to do an MBA at Boston University, which, I'm quite famous for saying I think college is bullshit. I don't think it's worth the money, worth the investment. But I understand that where I am in life and where I want my career to go, I need to play the game,
Hmm.
and the game is to advance myself with something like that. And I use that example just because it was something I've started and stopped. I actually was three-quarters of the way through an MBA, and then I couldn't afford to keep going during COVID, and I stopped, and then my credits expired. So I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Mhm.
But this is just something I decided literally 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I was like, I'm just going to apply. I got the acceptance yesterday, a day after the deadline,
What?
and I'm just going for it. So I say all that just to, I'm 39. I'll be 41 when I graduate. A lot of people would say that's too old to do stuff like that. But, I'm just getting started.
This is
Why?
amazing.
And this is someone who grew up being in the music business,
Mm.
spent my 20s just doing that and working as a personal trainer to make some money. Then I got into real estate. Then I opened a gym, did real estate at the same time, while being one of the operating team for the gym. Started working in real estate software, and now I'm doing something else that's completely unrelated to all of that. You just don't know where, and have a health practice on the side. Like you don't know where life's going to take you. So take it from someone who has shed so many different skins and just continue to grow and evolve. I would just use my personal story there as just fucking do it. Just do it. What do you have to lose?
You said it's completely unrelated, yet from the outside, it's completely related because I know what your
Yeah,
mission is in life.
yeah,
So, like, again, there were many different looking vehicles. Who drives the same car their whole life? I guess there are people.
yeah. There are some.
That's not exciting to me. Just because I'm in different cars doesn't mean I'm not going
Yeah,
in my destination. Because to me, it's just a very natural, cool progression. I heard someone this weekend say, well, I'm not growing, right? Because they were saying no to business things, but they were talking about the things they were doing for themselves personally and their health. And I was like, oh my God, that is growth though. Like you're being more purposeful in your growth by saying no to the business opportunity that would do more transactions, more
yeah.
volume, and saying yes to, yeah, I'm still doing that, still running my business, but now I'm also focused on this and this within myself. I'm like, that's the true growth. So one, congratulations. I'm a little
Thank you.
perturbed that I'm just hearing about it on the pod, but I guess it's like this is our time.
Well, I think I mentioned it to you that I applied, didn't I?
Yeah, but I remember you saying you were doing it, and then you were like, "Well, why am I going to invest in this?"
Yeah, there was. I've applied for work, and this isn't, more examples of me trying to, like, I applied, got into Arizona State for, it was a master's in political science, and then I got into King's College in London for a master's in neuroscience,
Yes.
and I was just, like, I changed my mind,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
it's okay to, but I didn't let the paralysis of should I do it or not
Mm-hmm.
stop me from getting my seat at the table.
Yep.
Then decide.
Okay.
Just you can always say no and change your mind, and you never are unable to change course.
Next question. What made this time different?
Um, that's a really good question. I think you just have these moments of clarity in life of, like, I'll give the example of my health practice. I love coaching. I love the practice side of it, helping people. But I would say it's about a 50-50 split for my own entertainment purposes when I'm listening to podcasts outside of. I'm a bit of a political commentary junkie, so I listen to a lot of that kind of stuff. But outside of that, it's 50-50 split between health and business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I genuinely love the business side of things. And I think just, I whet my appetite with the functional health stuff. It's still a direction I want to go in, but I'd love to be able to become, a C-suite executive, perhaps in 10, 15 years at a company that is impacting that, whatever that may be. And I think that's a point I was going to bring up today regarding my MBA thing was just, I think people, and this is where that paralysis of not doing something is, you got to stop thinking in the micro of, like, what's going to happen in the next couple of years. this is a thing, like this isn't me getting an MBA and like, right, I'm changing jobs. This is me thinking in 10, 15, 20 years
Yeah.
when I'm still only going to be 50 something, 60 something. That's where I want to be. So I'm going to make a move now
Yes.
to get there.
Think about both the macro of where you want to go, and then, okay, that's down the road and that's big, and people can get overwhelmed by that. Like, oh my God, how am I even going to get there?
Yeah.
Well, have the vision. And then the question is, what is the very first step? The very first
Yeah.
step to explore moving towards that. And as you've taken steps, again, action creates clarity. You stepped into some things like, okay, cool, this is interesting. I'm growing, I'm learning. Ooh, this is making me more interested in this, or this is opening the door to that. But I'm going to go back to my question. What makes now different? Why yes to this now?
A lot of it's a timing thing,
Okay.
honestly. It's knowing I could afford to do it, knowing that I can dedicate the time to it.
Okay.
Um, and really, I think most importantly, because I could have made it work with those other two variables at any time, really,
Mm-hmm.
just the just having that clarity around what I really want to do.
Okay. What does that feel like?
It feels very refreshing and freeing of just because I think we spend so much time. It's not something I get anxious about, but so much time thinking about it, and it's like it's typically more of a guy thing. And all my fellows who are listening can relate to this. If you're getting a new car, if you're buying a new piece of technology or a new tool or something, you spend so much time fretting over looking at different reviews and 100 reviews of each different thing, and that's almost the time consuming part. And then when you end up going to get it, it takes 2 seconds and you got it, and the excitement wears off pretty quickly. I think we overanalyze everything, and it becomes paralyzing.
Woo, what you just said, for me, that's need versus want. What I do, whether it's a woman thing or a man thing or whatever it might be, when I need something, I tend to really analyze. I YouTube it, I'm trying to learn about
Hmm.
it. When I want something, I'm just like, well, I want it. Like, I don't do all the research. I've done everything I've needed to know I want it. So,
Well, actually, no, and it's funny you say that because I've forever spent a lot of time watching car reviews and things like that. Cars I'd never be able to buy or would want to buy. It's just, one of my pastimes.
next thing
When
know,
I got the GTI, it was kind of like I had the loaner. I was like, I'm just going to get it next weekend, and
yeah,
did it.
that's it. You
So
you
that
had
you
all the
kind of,
information you needed. Yes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's not like you just decided to say yes to this MBA with Boston University.
yeah, be you, yeah,
Okay. Like, you've you've been doing the research, you've been doing the experiments. What does this feel like? Is this the time? Is this what
yeah. And
it's like?
getting into more of the decision tree part of it, it's like, all right, I've already done this before. Do I want to invest the time and the money into doing it again? I didn't do it at BU
Mhm.
first time around. Um, and then again, I had to think about, well, I've publicly said many times that going to college is a waste of time, waste of time and money for the most part.
Mhm.
But there are situations where it's worth it. And like I said, it's part of the game. We're in a generation that there's a game you got to play to get certain things and certain credentials you need. Um, and it just came down to that. Like, is it worth the investment of time and the money and the opportunity cost of where could that time and resources go to other things? And ultimately, I decided that for where I want to be, again, in the macro, in the 10, 15, 20 years ahead, this is the right move to make.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So, we're talking about focus, clarity, action. Where do you see that showing up in your day to day, your personal day to day?
I think for someone like myself, someone like you, who has a lot of fires stoking at the same time. I don't even know if that's the right saying there. A
Sure.
lot of spinning plates. Um, we've got our our main, career career day-to-day things to do, and then we've got the side business. Even something like this, it's not just spending the 45 minutes us talking. Like, there's marketing that goes into it, albeit we don't do it as much as maybe we should, but getting the clips chopped up, putting it on socials, getting it edited. um and it's really just about being able to context switch between all of those, being focused on that task at that time, and
Hmm.
not letting any of the other distractions come while you're doing those. And that's something I've always been very, I think, naturally good at. I don't know if it's a skill I've practiced, but I just think I've probably been aided by the fact that I always had my main career goal in the music industry. It almost became like the part-time thing.
Hmm.
So I had to always switch my mind between doing certain things. And I think it just comes down to prioritizing. And I think people really underestimate how much they can do because they don't manage their time properly.
Yeah. Where is, because we know, especially with the music background, right? Creativity is important to you. And I don't want to answer this for you because I have my own insight from the outside, but what are you doing? What are you committed to? What are you focused on with all of the other things to support and nurture that creative need for yourself? Where are you fulfilling that?
I mean, I'm always writing songs. I'm
Okay.
in the car. Drives the kids crazy. I'm playing instrumentals, writing songs. Um, sorry, I met for coffee with a friends Monday, and this again, managing your time. Like, I turned it into a business opportunity for my day job, so it was a justified reason to go and have a catch up with someone, have a chat. But anyway, he bonded because he was in the music industry too, uh, years back, and we were kind of saying, like, it's really hard. It's not like you can just sit down and say, right, I'm going to make some music.
Mm-hmm.
Got to feel inspired. You got to be in the right mind frame to catch the frequencies to get stuff out there,
Yeah.
get it out of you. And it's not a case of just like, oh, I'm going to do music from 6 to 7 on Monday night because that's when I have an hour.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you're not going to be inspired to do anything then. So it's really just letting it hit when you can. So I think just being, I guess, being open to receiving those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you do feel inspired, don't be like, well, I'm in the middle of something. Let me just just do it,
Yeah.
and then come back. It's just prioritizing what's important in that moment.
I wonder if learning for you is also creative.
It is. There's definitely some mental masturbation there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I knew you were going to go to the music thing, which I love, but I'm bringing it up because I want people to realize that what may have defined their creative outlets before doesn't mean that that's what it has to be for the rest of your life. While music is a creative outlet, when you're learning and you're interested in things, like, you light up and
yeah.
your brain is creating. So I actually see learning as a creative outlet for you as well.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Look, I mean, you're the same way. It's like,
Yes.
like, we're always doing some kind of certification or
Yes.
whatever. It's just who we are.
Yeah. Okay. So the lesson there is just have an open mind to what looks what fills certain parts of our buckets, right?
Yeah,
Creativity, play, stillness, all of that, and being okay if it looks a little bit different than how you defined it before, or really taking a look at, like, what am I actually doing, and what is doing these things do for me? What parts of my life does it fill?
yeah,
The life wheel is a very simple tool for that, going and looking at all the different categories and kind of ranking yourself where you are, scale of dumpster fire to Messiah, um, in each category, and having flexibility. And then something that you just said too, when those moments hit you, whether it's a moment where you realize you need some stillness, whether it's a moment where you realize you've got some creative flow happening, giving yourself permission and also creating hopefully an environment where you can stop, recognize that, honor that for those few moments, let it kind of flow out, and then pick back up, with what you were doing.
Yeah, I think underpinning a lot of what we're talking about today is self-awareness
Mm-hmm.
of having the understanding of yourself, of when you need to slow down, speed up, switch gears, change the vehicle, change what you're doing at that moment,
Mm-hmm.
being receptive to inspiration to go and do something.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people have lost touch with themselves,
Yes.
and that's where that self-awareness is missing a little bit. That, you were saying that it kind of made me think, just the learning is kind of how I get some of my creative juices and get my creative fix. And the danger with that is it can become a bit of mental masturbation. You just constantly go from book to book, or podcast to podcast, or audible book to audible book, and you don't actually action on anything you're listening to and learning. And that's where self-awareness is needed, to be like, all right, am I just doing this now to get my dopamine fix, or am I doing this because it's going to elevate me and I can actually put some of this into practice?
Yes. Well, that's learning for learning's sake versus learning for
Yeah.
doing's sake. Um, I find that if I can start to share or repeat things that I'm learning with someone around me,
Hmm.
start letting it come out. One is, am I really taking it in? Two, how am I using this to apply to my life? Like right now, I'm doing grief coaching certification and actually help myself through a challenge I had during the mastermind, where someone was on stage and literally described a suicide that was in parallel with my experience, and hearing
Yeah.
someone talk through from that perspective, although they made a phone call from the car instead of continuing, just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I
Yeah.
was supposed to be presenting and talking to people, and I was like, oh my god. And so I went to what I've been learning through the grief coaching, and I just kind of applied to myself, took care of what I needed to in the moment, got through what I needed to get through, and then I did some things later in the day to really like circle back where I would have just probably kept pushing before.
Yeah.
um so learning and applying, like if you're just learning and you're not applying, there's the mental masturbation, and maybe you let it yourself do it for a little bit. But that's a perfect example of, someone won't think you're in a stuck state because you're so busy, you're learning, you're continuing to get educated, you're physically doing something. But that's actually, busyness can be an example
Yeah.
of a stuck state, because it becomes this perfect excuse for like, well, I'm not getting the job because I still need more certifications, I still need more
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that you're asking why now is the right time. I think it it was the time where I realized I needed to learn to learn.
Mm,
No, I take that back. I needed to learn to do it. Like, I needed to learn so I could go and then apply this, versus just doing it to do it and get that fix of, oh, I'm doing this MBA.
yeah.
That's I realized where I want to go. I need that.
Yeah.
Like, I actually do need that to get where I want to get to. So, and one thing that I think is really important, and it really plays into being able to focus, being able to uh, be disciplined, is setting boundaries and time. And one thing about people, well, actually, everybody knows this about me. If you have my cell phone number and you try and call me, I'm never picking up.
Yeah.
I pick up for my wife, and that's it. Um, and the joke is, we always give her number to the schools and everything, because I ain't picking up,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be reactive.
Mm,
I want to know who is calling me. I want to know what they're calling about, so I can then um, be ready and prepared for the call. It's the same with my work and everything. I do not pick up the phone on the first ring.
mm.
I want to be able to mentally prepare for what I'm going to say, even if it's just a quick. I shouldn't say never. It depends what I'm doing and whatever. Am I in the middle of something? But I see people being so reactive,
Yeah.
and you see this particularly in real estate. You'd know this very well. Just you got to answer your clients as soon as they call you, or if you end up, and it's something you worked up with me when you were coaching me, just you have to set those boundaries. Otherwise, if you don't train people how to treat you, they're going to treat you how they want to treat you, and it's very rarely in your benefit.
Yes. I always cracked up, and I'm sure I've done it. I don't do it anymore, or at least I work not to, is when you call someone and they're like, they answer, like, I'm busy. Like, I can't talk right now. Well, then why the fuck did you pick up the phone?
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate you picking up the phone because you saw it was me, or whatever it was. If you could not give 30 seconds of your time right now, don't pick up the phone. Or
Yeah.
say, I decided to pick up the phone. I'm going to commit to whatever's on the other side of this phone line, or don't pick up the phone. If you want to just make sure I'm not on fire, like, okay, then just be like, I can't talk. I want to make sure you're okay. You're okay. Yes. Can I call you back in 30 minutes, whatever it might be? And that's
Yeah.
personal, but so many agents that you call, and they're just, we're just run very, very ragged. The whole, all of human beings are run very ragged. There's so much dysregulation. There's so much coming at us, way more information that any human being has ever had to deal with before. We're still dealing with prehistoric brains. Our subconscious is like, there's data that says 12 million. I've seen data that says 126 million pieces of information per second in our subconscious. Meanwhile, consciously, 134, 100 pieces of information can we process consciously. Everything's competing. We're competing for our own attention, our children, our family, our friends, our clients, the social media. When you say something like focus, it's like, well, how the heck does someone even focus?
Yeah.
Right. And that's where our responsibility to create the environments that we can focus in, and then decide what we want to focus on and what do we need to have around us or not have around us during the times when we're focused. I looked at times when we're focused. We're not focused 100% of the time, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But when you're going to be focused and when you need to get focus in, like, what you choose to focus on is what your life is going to be. If you're
Yeah.
choosing to focus on the negative, your life's going to be negative.
Say that all the time.
Mm.
And I've gone through that. I spent 4 years in a very uh what's the word, with my wife. We were divorced, and we were constantly at each other,
Mm.
and I was in that fight mode all the time,
Mm.
because when your kids are involved, so you always look. I was always looking for the slight, like, this person's trying to get me, and that was just because that's how I conditioned myself to be at that time. And I can't stress enough how amazing it is not to feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite.
You
I
can't have
always
a bad day.
assume positive intent,
Yeah.
and I think, as I want to do a deeper dive on this topic, because what we were saying, it was the last episode or week before, of just how there's a lot of dysregulated nervous systems out there right now. I think it kind of ties into self-awareness, or I'll touch on it, but I do want to do a whole episode just on how you can't let yourself be emotionally manipulated by the media that you're consuming. And so many people are, and I've said this before in an episode, if you are presented something on a TV or on your phone and it immediately draws, you talk about Trump derangement syndrome, that's the biggest one. If just seeing someone's face or hearing someone's voice that you don't know,
Yeah.
you have never had a personal interaction with someone, and it evokes an emotion in you,
Mm-hmm.
you've been manipulated,
Mm-hmm.
because that you're being conditioned to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And I catch myself sometimes too. I'm like, oh, I fucking hate that guy. I'm like, actually, why do it? I don't mind him. It's fine. I don't know him.
Right.
And I've said it before. You are always an asshole in someone's story. There is a whole group of people out there that think you're a prick,
Yep.
and meanwhile, you've got 10 times more people who think you're great.
Yeah.
But it's just how it is, and we get it by how much we're. I mean, honestly, if you were to study, and I spend some time doing this, studying how media is presented, and it's across the whole political spectrum. I'm not just saying it's one side or the other. It's the whole shebang. The way that they psychologically train you to feel certain things just by what they show you. And I say it all the time when I watch the news on TV, if it's ever on, and when I visit my mum or something, because I don't let it on the TV or consume any of it. Um, I'm very careful with what I consume. It's honestly, it's like bang, bang, this flashes up, this da da, and I'm like,
Mm.
no wonder you get so like hyped up, and it's pushing all of those buttons for you, and just throwing buzzwords at you that get you all riled up, and it's like, chill.
Designed and developed to
Yeah,
manipulate through stories.
yeah,
And they're just stories.
exactly.
Woo! All right. When you say you want to expand on the topic, what specifically do you want to expand on? Nervous system regulation, or the
I
impact of
think
media consumption?
helping people strip down and decode the media that they're consuming, and help them filter out um filter out what they're consuming, and that kind of thing. I think it's really important for your mental health,
We'll
you
talk
know.
about that. We'll talk about when you're sitting in a room, because I'll find myself and people are having heated political discussions or debates. And I do have things maybe to add, but I just don't want to go, like, it doesn't do my heart and brain good to delve down those paths. Um, and there's often I'm like, I should know about this. I should know more about this. All the should, so I know what's happening in the world, so I can have educated conversations with my clients, with my friends. So there's a double-edged sword of not consuming it, and then also a guilt or a I should be aware of what's happening in the world. That's something that I always kind of, I don't want to say struggle with, but I go back and forth with.
Yeah, but again, it's what's happening in the world, or what are you being told to focus on in
Yes.
the world at
Yes.
that time?
Yes. I think choosing to go and get educated on certain things that we have awareness around is different than
Yeah.
just consuming an hour of news where it's like, oh, the happy puppy got adopted and like the entire family was murdered and the house was set on fire. And then
You've seen
here's the
that.
weather and it's this up
You've
and
seen
down.
that meme. It's got the TV screen. It's got someone holding a knife,
Yeah.
and they're about to stab someone, and then you zoom out, and it's actually the other way around.
Yeah.
That it looks like the other person's running away, but actually they're the one holding the knife, and the
Yes.
other person's trying to get away from them. And
Yeah.
it's all perception.
Yeah.
It really is. And the game that's being played is to keep everybody divided,
Mm-hmm.
so that all those guys can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yep.
Look at the Epstein shit.
Yep.
You
Yes.
know, it's
Uh,
it's it's crazy, and people, again, we it's impossible to avoid it completely. It's impossible not to lean one way or the other, or take a side or whatever. But I think it really saddens me. I see a lot of people very emotionally manipulated,
yes.
and they don't recognize it.
Yeah.
And quite often is gaslit the other way, that you're brainwashed or this or that. It was actually, no, you are.
Right.
I'm afraid, but it's fine. And I always go back to, I think it was oh, what's his name? Famous. I think he was from New Jersey, wasn't he? I think it was Oliver Wilde, Oscar Wilde, or
Okay.
Oliver Wilde. It's easier to lie to lie to someone than convince them that they've been lied to.
Mm,
And that's because of that emotional manipulation.
yes. Yeah.
You know?
It is all around us. I think if you take one thing from something that was talked about today, it's awareness and the ability to just stop and take just count of where are you right now? Where are you mentally? Where are you physically in this moment? And then
Yeah.
how do you want to move out of this moment? Do you need to make any shifts? And we're not talking about for the rest of the day or the rest of the week. Yes, you want to have intentions, but in this moment, what is happening? And how do you want to take the next step? How do you want to be feeling? What needs to shift? Do you need to put a little music on? Do you need to take a little walk around? Do you need to go meditate for a few minutes? Do you need to jump into a phone call, an important phone call? Just have the awareness, make decisions, take actions before you're ready, take care of yourself, and also have some fun while you're
Yeah.
doing it all. And reframe, be willing to reframe and and give new filters and scripts to things that maybe look differently for you before, like
Yeah.
re-looking at them.
Yeah. And the only thing I would add on to that was a great summary. Um, it's just don't, and it kind of ties into the last topic, but I think it relates to everything. Don't think that everything is binary. It's never this or that.
Mm.
It's this and that. I love Gary Vee's always saying that. It's not or, it's and. You can feel a certain way and feel another type of way at the same time.
Yes.
You can do something and do something in addition to that. It's not, I can only do this or that. If I go this direction, I can't go there.
Yep.
Life's not binary like that.
Yeah.
It's it's got so many twists and turns, and you are limitless as a person. You know, what you can be and who you can be is limitless.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, we've been conditioned through school, through everything, to feel like we're put in a box and that's all we can do.
Yeah. Everything that you have, everything that you need is already within you. And I think there's another part to that statement, which has helped me because that never really resonated with me. Sounds great. Like, oh, I have everything I need. Well, then why the hell am I
Mm.
struggling so much? Everything that you need is within you. What I think our job is as growing beings on this earth is to get the tools to tap into what's already within us. So we may not have the tool that we need. It's already in there. Maybe we need a coach. We need someone else to help us with that tool, or we need to find it. Or we have the tool, but we haven't been shown how to use it, right? Like we've got the hammer, but we're trying to use it like a screw instead of using it the right way. So you have everything that you need. You absolutely can be, do, and have anything that you want in this life. It takes focus. It takes action. It takes support. It takes clarity. It takes the willingness to let go of control. It takes mistakes. It takes failure. It takes all the things that we're told to fear and really realize that embracing all of that is what is going to bring us to our highest spiraled up level that we're going to continue to live till the day we go in the ground or wherever our body goes, and maybe our soul goes beyond that. But we are limitless, and thank you for that reminder. Until next time, friends, bye for now.